Hello, everyone. Guten Tag. Today, we are going to be heading to Germany for our reaction video. And it's that man, Kool Savas. You remember him?
Oh yes, Kool Savas. Yeah, where's he
Kool
been these
Savas.
days?
So we did a album review to Aghori by Kool Savas, and I remember I really liked it. I remember saying, because back in the day we were doing a lot of German rap albums. We we ranked them, didn't we? And this was my favorite from what I remember, Kool Savas. So we've had a request, so let me show you. Burke Gula says, good one. This is to the Aghori review that we did. Please react to Aura or Märtyrer. Märtyrer is for sure his best album in terms of lyric and technique, I think he means. On Aura album, he flows like on a few tracks. It's insane. So we have the choice of two. How do I? When we zoom, these bloody things in the way. How do you get rid of? I can't get to the next things.
We can see you can see Arctic Monkey review at the moment.
That's all right. I'm stuck. Right, I'll come off of this. Hang on. So that's why I hate Zoom. Really hate Zoom. Right, come off of this. So yeah. All right, I'll share the screen again. I'm probably going to have to come off it again to go to the next one. So, right, where's my Skype thing gone? Right, so I'll share the screen. So this was one of them that was requested. This was the Aura one, which is all in German, by the way. So there's this one, but the one that I've actually chosen, which I hope you don't mind, Brett, is the other one. I'll explain why. It's a slightly longer album. So let me just quickly share the screen again. So it's this one, the Märtyrer one. The reason I've gone for this one is because this one features other artists, which I think could make it a little bit more exciting, a bit more interesting. You know, they could bring something different to the table. So yeah, that's the one I think we'll go for. It's not too long, 43 minutes, 15 seconds. So there's a bit of pressure on Kool Savas for me because I really liked his latest album, Aghori. So I'm hoping I'm going to like this as well. This album's a bit older, back from 2014. But that's really all I can say about it. Don't know what to expect from it. Brett, what about you? Brett? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? We seem to have lost him.
Previously, so I think it felt a bit fresh in that sense. So yeah, again, so yeah, it's hard because obviously Kool Savas has been put on a bit of a pedestal for that. So let's see what this album brings.
Yeah, let's do that indeed. So we're going to go off and listen to the album now, and we'll let you know what we thought of it. So we've now listened to the album. So I'm going to hand you over to Brett to give us his thoughts on it.
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to use this word, and I feel like I've never had to use this word before on doing a review and stuff. I was very disappointed by this album. And so the reason I was trying to work out why that might have been the case. Now, granted, disclaimer, I haven't helped myself because I didn't look at the English translation of these songs. But hopefully, I think they said you might look to be potentially doing that. And part of the reason was because from what I remember on his last album, because obviously we've done one of his albums before, and again, you might have a better recollection of it, because I know you liked a song from there. Pretty much, I liked a song there, but I remember liking a couple of songs. And I think what I liked about, or I think we both liked about the album there, it felt quite. The rap didn't seem so hard. It felt like it was very listenable. They were like proper songs as such. With this, bar maybe a couple of them, it was very much the same. It was very rap heavy, and I just didn't think I could get into it. So maybe I had expectations of the last album, and maybe that's what's maybe have a different effect from this one here. There's some couple of all right bits. There was potentially an okay song, but otherwise, yeah, I sound like you here. Really did enjoy this album. I was kind of glad when it was over. And I felt it was a real shame, really. And I think, like I said, it's probably down to me thinking really positive of his last album as such. So I don't know if you end up feeling the same, and maybe we've got opinions on that one there. But yeah, just a little disappointing for me.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. Well, yeah, I have to say, I mean, the kind of same boat as you, really. So my notes are generally disappointing. I was hoping for song and rap together, which is what we got in the previous album we listened to. Aghori is the name of it. We just didn't get it, apart from one track. A few tracks had American hip hop in them, which was interesting. But overall, the album wasn't for me. So yeah, I can definitely answer the question, like what the problem was. I think you've touched on it. That Aghori album that I liked, and I think you liked it as well, because yeah, there was that all the I don't know if it was every single song, but certainly quite a few of them, probably the majority, they were kind of like, they felt more commercial, maybe, like if they were kind of songs like, with the rap as well, kind of a bit like, I think I might have said this at the time, like Eminem and who was it? Rihanna, was it? Yeah, Eminem, Rihanna, is it? Love the Way You Lie, like that.
Yeah.
Had that kind of feel to it. Whereas this album was just more kind of proper rap, like without the kind of the singing parts in it. So that's the reason why I was disappointed with it. Didn't enjoy it nearly as much as Aghori. So we'll go through the tracks. So yeah, I did translate them. So there will be some of the tracks that I've put like my favorite lines down, which might be quite entertaining, but let's see. So first track then was Intro. So it had a nice instrumental start. It was kind of like electronic music, like, before kind of anything really happened. And the rap started. Was my favorite kind of rap. I quite like the singing part that was in it. But for an intro, it was very long. I think it was like one of the longer tracks on the album. So yeah, at this stage it was hard to judge, but it was an okay start.
Yeah, so I think going away from everything we said at the start, I think this track and maybe the last one, I think maybe one in between, where this felt more like it could have been a song, like something from the Aghori album as such. I feel the same sort of things here. Very long for an intro, almost 4 minutes long. And not only that, also it has a featured artist, which I don't think I've known any sort of first song of an album to be classed as an intro song, to be that long, and to have a featured art. Why not just be a regular song? It seemed a bit weird there. But what I did like about it today, it had a sort of almost like an 80s electronic sort of feel. I've also put here a bit of indie. There was some English speaking as well. And maybe this way where also the disappointment album came in, because I thought his first show was actually quite good and a good intro. So I thought, okay, this is going to be quite good. And I say the rest of the songs just didn't live up to that at all. I like the singing with the featured artist. I haven't written his name down with the chorus bit. But actually, to find what we've just said at the start there, and the eerie ending, which then merges into the next song, I actually quite like this as a song. One of my favorite ones on the album, which I know won't be saying much as we go on, but yeah, it was a good start to the album.
Yeah. So even though I did translate all these songs, I'm not going to talk too much about the meanings of them really, because I didn't really get, it's just the usual kind of like typical rappers do. They just, have these lines. They, try to kind of, I don't know, take the piss out of people and stuff. And so there wasn't really any kind of real meaning, I don't think, to these tracks, most of them. So I won't talk too much about that kind of thing unless there's some lines that I particularly pulled out. So the second one then was Märtyrer, which means martyr. And this is the name of the album as well. So as you said, it was a continuation of the intro, merged into it. Again, not keen on the rap style. It feels a bit aggressive. I'm not into that kind of particularly aggressive style of rap. The background singing is okay, but just not really enjoying this one. There was some American rap in English at the end as well.
Yeah. I enjoyed that English sort of rapping bit sort of at the end there. I've put here, and this is what I ended up putting for quite a lot of songs, it has a collega feel to it. Now, I don't want to go down a whole sort of collega route, because obviously we know what collega is, we know what it's about, and we appreciate and like what stuff there. I think because I wasn't expecting to have it from this album, this wise almost feels like a negative kind of comment. But very clear, and kind of what you were saying, it feels a bit more dark, and it's all focused on the rap. It's not so much the commercial kind of songs to it, which again, probably a lot of Kool Savas fans probably really like and probably don't like his other stuff. But for us personally, it seems that we do. So yeah, it just has that collega kind of focus on the rap, and then later on realised, you know what, I should have probably got sort of the English translations up from there. But as the song itself, yeah, didn't really enjoy it that much.
Yeah, on that note, on collega, I remember we did a collega album. We've done a lot of collega albums, and the one that I certainly like the most, and possibly you as well, was the one that the comments said he got criticised for it because it was using auto-tune, and that was the one where it felt more commercial. There was more kind of singy and stuff. So yeah, maybe it's the same with Kool Savas, that like that is the album we listened to last time, Aghori, is kind of maybe not so. Maybe a lot of the hardcore fans maybe were not so keen on it. I don't know. I'm just making an assumption.
Yeah, and it's hard because I get where they probably both artists will want to come from as well, and trying to appease most people and do a try thing. In hindsight, it always feels nice to be, well, why not just do a blend of all that sort of stuff on one album? Why does it have to be one song? But I suppose that's the album style that they want it to go down. So I don't blame them. I don't seem to be negative on them, but like I say, it's just for us. It's not as we would say, our English cup of tea. That's all.
So the next one, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. It's a bit weird. Es ist wahr. Dash. Well, not dash. What do you call it? What's that line called? Diagonal. What's that diagonal line called?
A slash, I think.
Slash. Yeah, slash. Sazudemvi.
Is it?
Nice kiddie start. Sounds a bit wrong, but I don't know. It's like a kind of kid at the beginning. Parts of it are kind of head boppy. The background na 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 sound is very repetitive, like really repetitive. Like it's just constant, like all the way through. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, again, it's a collega, some real sort of fast rapping there. And again, I can appreciate the rapping and get what it's all about there. And also, like you put about the sort of na na sort of bit in the background, which I thought would be an interesting take on it, but very quickly it becomes very annoying on the song, which is a shame. Because I thought with the kid's voice, I thought it'd be something a little bit different there, but it just for some reason, maybe I'm just trying to be too negative too early on, but it just didn't work and it annoyed me, and yeah, didn't enjoy this one as much.
Then we had Zweifel und Bestätigung. So I don't really like the deep voice guy rapping, and I'm just wondering, is it Kool Savas? Because there's no mention of another artist. Is it just like he's just using some thing, his voice there. And yeah, just wasn't a big fan of that song. I've got nothing more to say on it.
Again, sort of put a clever vibe. Unlike you, though, I actually didn't mind the sort of deep rapper voice there. And I put the same sort of thing. When is this just Kollega? Is this just Kool Savas? But it's just been slowed down. It's like it's fast rapping. They've just slowed it down. It has that kind of feel to it. So, which I kind of like and appreciate. But otherwise, no real tune. It's just the rapping. Again, some very good fast rapping. All probably really impressive. But just as long as to just no. Moving on to the next one.
Next one was called Limit, and I just noted down, this is much better. We've got a woman singing, there's a beat to it, and I just enjoyed the chorus from the woman. And this is exactly like what the Aghori album is like. It was a lot of songs like this. So this is, for me, is by far and away the standout song. Very listenable. Yes, it obviously had the rap, Kool Savas rap, but it had the nice mix with a proper chorus. It was a proper song. That's what I like. So it's just a shame that there weren't other songs like this. And I did take a line from this one. So the line I took was, see, this is translated into English. Swallow cum, have a boner in the face, and they say I'm just doing my thing. Uh-oh, you're doing a shit. That was my favourite line.
That was your favourite line. I'm kind of glad I probably didn't look at the English lyrics if that was the sort of the pick of the takes of it, really. I can't say any more different to what you said there. Standout song. It almost has the tagline for this now to be the experimental song of the album, because it's like the only one like this on the album, which is a shame because it is our style there. I've said here what you said, like from the first album, that sort of Eminem, Rihanna kind of style to it. Really enjoyed the voice, all blended in really, really well. And as you said as well, shame there wasn't just more of this on the album. But yeah, definitely my favourite track on the album, standout track, and it's been given the tagline, the experimental song.
Yeah, we also have to remember as well, I don't know if you're aware of this, this album is older than the Aghori album. The Aghori album came after this as well. So maybe he realised that was a popular song, and maybe that's why they possibly decided to then kind of make more songs like that in the Aghori album, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even look about sort of the years of the different albums, actually, which would have been quite interesting, which probably it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. But yeah, I didn't think to look or see that. But yeah, that's interesting to know and see if that was generally potentially the case. Okay.
Next track was Matrix. So he's straight into the rap with this one. I just didn't particularly like it. It was just pure rap, which is fair enough. He's a rapper, but I just really like the, as I just said, the mix with like a woman singer, proper song. The line I took from this one was, this is a good line. No matter how long your cock is, the only one getting fucked is you.
Classic rap line there. Very, very classic rap. Again, yeah, I put here, not favourites. I'd say it felt even more of a letdown in a way from being the song after the one I've just sort of kind of enjoyed. I've just put here rap, 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 rap. However, I don't agree. I did feel there was almost a sort of chorus element to this one. So even though it was quite rap heavy, it did feel like there was almost like a chorus rap bit to it. So it almost had a sort of that song feel to it. I quite enjoyed the sort of sound effects to make it a little bit different, but otherwise, yeah, it was rap on rap.
Okay. So the next one was To the Essence, and this had a featured artist. So this was an interesting one. Proper American hip hop to start with, like real proper kind of old school American hip hop. And I like the English German mix. And what was interesting about this one, when I actually translated this one, because it was partly in English, partly in German, it actually recognized it as English because I could only recognize it in one language, and it translates it, like it detects the language and translates it to English, right? So it actually detected it as English. I think that because there's actually more English in this song than German. So I then actually changed it to German so that I got the Kool Savas bit into English. I did like that mix. I thought this was one of the better tracks on the album, but still miles behind track 5, Limit. It's nowhere near as good as that, but I just like the fact it was a bit different, and a bit, the nice mix of English, German, and so from that, that side of things, I didn't mind it. It was all right.
Again, I've got exactly the same sort of thing. I really liked sort of the English and German rap blending there. Really enjoyed the sort of 80s American hip hop with all the scratching as well, something a bit different to it. Absolutely agree. One of the better songs on the album, but as you also said there, it's still way behind track 5, Limit. This could potentially take maybe 3rd or 4th place potentially.
So next one was Es rappelt im Karton. So this was just pure rap. I enjoyed reading the lyrics with this one, just kind of going through it, but found the track quite boring, nothing really to it. The line I took actually, which I don't know if you picked up on this, was he said, "Octopus Garden" by the Beatles.
Oh. Yeah, nice.
You know that song?
Yeah, I know the song. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that there at all. Is that just the line? Was that just it? Just that?
There was something else to it, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay. Otherwise, again, it felt sort of very sort of dark rap. Again, I've put here Kollega. And again, there's no disrespect to Kollega because I get Kollega, I get what it's all about, but it was just very different in these eyes here. Just the same old love stuff here. Move on to the next track.
Right. So the next track was Rap über Rap. So I guess that means rap over rap, or like rap above rap. So I had an American start. Then Here Comes Savas. He suddenly got into it. I like the American rapping. I put here, I like the American rapping in German because it sounded like a kind of American accent. I think it's a woman, but she was rapping these words. Rappt nur über Rap, which is obviously German. And then it had like an American hip hop ending. So wasn't a lover of this, to be honest, but for this album, like comparing it to the other songs on it, it actually wasn't bad. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Again, and then there's also these other bits of sound effects as well as the woman's voice, which again at least gave it something to it. It's just rap about rap, really. Pretty much what the translation is all about. Just felt very dark. Again, very similar to the track before. Not much else I can say.
Okay, then we had Summa Summarum. So the first, like when it first started, it sounded like a kind of part of a movie at the beginning. Obviously, it got into it. I just felt with this track, it felt more intense. I just wasn't keen on that feeling of it, so I didn't really like this one.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain this bit here because there's not much I've put here. But it felt like the rapping was like kind of like a roller coaster. It kind of was going up and down in a strange way. I have to probably re-listen to it again or have it on to explain. But that's all I put in my notes. Yeah, it's sort of up and down. So it sounded a little bit different to all the other sort of rap songs on there. However, it was still same old, nothing much more to say on that there. However, the ending had a nice atmospheric feeling to it, so I quite enjoyed that part.
And we had Neue Namen. I just put nothing much to this. It just kind of passed me by. Didn't really enjoy it.
It's a bit like you said about previous track where you go straight into the rapping. That was the same for this one here. Straight into the rapper was full on all the way through. Nothing more different for this one here. And again, I've just put again likeness to Kollega. but just doesn't feel as good or as even listenable as Kollega. And I don't know why that was the case, because it's pretty much exactly the same. But for Kollega, even though I didn't know what he was rapping about, I felt his stuff was more listenable of him just sort of rapping. I don't know if it's just his voice or his persona or something about that, but I was thinking, I would even actually rather be listening to Kollega doing this rather than Kool Savas, which is harsh on him, I guess.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I think Kollega maybe has a better rap. I don't want to say he's a better rap. Maybe he's just a better rapper. I don't know.
Yeah, essentially. I think what we've always said about we like that Kollega, even though he's quite fast, and even though it's in German and I don't understand a word he's saying, it seems clearer. Which is, again, I know we've talked about in previous ones where it seems so weird to say, but without knowing what we were saying, it just, I don't know, it has this sort of clearness to it, and just, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's like a persona, just aura about just Kollega doing his bit, I guess. I don't know.
So we had Anecdote aus Istanbul skit. This is a skit rather than a song as such. But I mean, this one you really had to have a look at a translation, otherwise it doesn't really mean much. So I like this one, and it's just something very different to everything else. And I think I got the meaning. Like I'm looking at trying to understand. It's translated into English. So he's talking about. I didn't write any of this down, so I can't remember exactly. But it's talking about somebody. I can't remember who the woman was, who she's supposed to be. It's someone that goes to Istanbul, I think, where he was living at the time or something. Or she asked him. She wanted to learn a bit of Turkish, so she asked Kool Savas to help her with some Turkish words or something. So she said something like, "How do you say bread in Turkish?" Or that was one of the examples. How do you say something else in Turkish? And Kool Savas told her, but I think Kool Savas had purposely given her like the wrong words or something, or like said like given a different word for bread or something. And then like when the parents came home, she said, "Oh, I've learned some Turkish today." "Oh yeah, what have you learned?" And she started saying, "Well, bread is this, da da da." But it wasn't the right words because Kool Savas had told her the wrong translation purposely or something like that. But I just quite liked it. It was all right, this one. It was.
No, I get that. And it's funny because in my notes here, I said I got the feeling that, and again, I probably should have gone and looked at the lyrics on here, but I could feel if I knew more about this one, I'd probably enjoy it a lot better. But I could feel there was something to it. Obviously, it's Istanbul in the title, so could pick up on that. So maybe I'll go back and look at that one and appreciate more. But that's kind of what I put here. I said, I feel bad. This is where I made know, but I feel bad. I should have probably looked at the translation stuff because I feel like this one, there was maybe some potential to it. But as you said, it's only a short song. And it reminded me of when we listened to his last album. It was the same sort of thing because I remember I really enjoyed the last song, which also had sort of a deeper meaning to it. So this kind of had links to that, really. Not links, as in it was quite similar in that sense.
And then the last track then was Lang Genug Gewartet. So it had a nice start, feels kind of like opera, but that only lasted for a few seconds. And then Savas has got going, and again just wasn't really keen on it. Just kind of pure rap.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind this one. Yes, it was pure rap, but I think because suddenly he wasn't rapping as fast. If I've seen the lyrics and the meaning, it felt a lot deeper, and I said that's what it reminded me of, like the last song on this last album we listened to as well. And overall, I actually thought this was the same way the first track was a good opening track to the album. I did find this was a really nice, good ending to the album. So at least it started on a high and ended on a high, I suppose, in some regards. But otherwise, yeah, it was still playing rapping, but at least it was a little bit softer, a bit slower, and felt a bit more meaningful.
Okay, so do you want to sum up?
I'll try. I think it's the same sort of what I said from the start. Said, unfortunately, because we've done something previously, it felt a little bit disappointing. And because you had that one sort of standout track, Limit, that we both liked, kind of felt that's the style that we both obviously enjoyed, that we liked of his, and we would have liked to see more of it. So, as I said, just wasn't expected to be so collega-like in a nice way. But I wouldn't be rushing to listen to this album again. But I will say, because of that one track, it hasn't put me off Kool Savas when I think about his other album. So I know he would have done some good stuff there. But this album, it's not one of my favourites, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll echo that. So, disappointing overall. But that's only because, I'm into the kind of the song wrapped together, the mix, which didn't really get on this album, apart from that one song. But, of all the German rap albums we listened to, which has been quite a few, we obviously haven't done many recently, but since we started the channel, we've done a lot of German rap album reviews, and definitely Aghori by Kool Savas is definitely my favorite. Really enjoyed that album. It'd been actually nice to actually listen to it again. So I haven't listened to it since we did the review. So this didn't live up to that at all, but it's a different kind of style. He's decided to go along with just the more kind of pure traditional rap, which is fine, but it's just not really my cup of tea. But so, thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon for the next one. Goodbye. Tschüss. Well, for some reason, a lot of people in Germany and German-speaking countries like to say ciao, like an Italian.
Oh, so, like ciao. Ciao.
I noticed that when I was in Austria.
Oh.
Ciao.